Okay. So hopefully you can all see and hear me. And we're going to look at a variety of defense problems this evening. And there will be some polls along the way for you to express your opinions. So let's have a look at this one where you are east. South has opened 1 no trump. That's 12 to 14. And North jumped to 3 no trump. And your partner is on lead, and they lead the Queen of Spades. And down comes dummy, and you should realize that the Queen of Spades is going to be top of the sequence. Your partner's got some kind of sequence like Queen Jack 10 or something like that. And they've got off to a good lead here. So if declare plays low from dummy, you might start off by signaling encouragement with a 7. That's high to encourage. And suppose they play another spade, they knock out the ace. And this is the first key thing you have to do on this hand, which is to play your king. You're playing your king here because otherwise the suit will block. Your partner's got Jack 10 or some longer holding like that. And if you hang on to the king, then even if you lead the suit again, lead a spade again, the king will block the suit. So the first key thing you've got to do is unblock the king there. Okay. And declarers now starts leading clubs, starts leading 1 round of clubs, which he wins with the ace. And in fact, declarer is now going to play 3 more rounds of clubs. And you're going to have to find 3 discards. And it's rather than agonize over every discard, this is a good moment for you to think about what are you going to discard on the next 3 clubs. So I'd like you to think about that. And the question is, declarer is now going to play 3 more rounds of clubs. And what are you going to discard? You're going to discard a spade, a heart, and a diamond, or a spade and 2 hearts, or what are you going to discard? So here comes the poll. Think about what you're going to discard. And I'm going to launch a poll now, and hopefully you can choose one of the options on display. Have a think about it first before I launch a poll. And when the 3 more rounds of clubs are played, what 3 discards are you going to find? Look at the results. And there's votes for everything there. All possibilities. The most popular response was 1 diamond and 2 hearts. And there were responses for all the other options. And in fact, there are other possibilities too, which maybe some of you would have chosen. Well, let's have a little think about this. First of all, when your partner led the Queen of Spades, it means they've got a sequence. So if you gain the lead, you really want to play a spade because your partner has some spades which they are presumably going to be in a position to cash. So you should hang on to your 3 of spades, first of all. Now, what are you going to discard from hearts and diamonds? Even though your hearts are quite strong, it's not very likely that declarer is going to play the hearts. You've got the ace, queen, 10. So all declarer's got in terms of honors is the king and maybe the jack. So it's not a good suit for declarer. And declarer is much more likely, after cashing the clubs, to play the diamonds. And because there are 4 diamonds in dummy, you should have kept all 4 diamonds. Yes, I believe the correct answer is to discard 3 hearts here. And although you don't like doing it, but it's probably best to keep your 4 diamonds. So when the clubs are played, you're going to discard your hearts, discard another heart, and declarer might now turn their attention to diamonds. Let's bring up the 4 hands and have a look at it. Declarer, you can see, has got 3 top diamonds, But if you discarded a diamond at any point, they would make an extra trick with a fourth diamond. So they may play a diamond hoping that they divide evenly, but when they don't, you will prevent Declarer making another trick with a diamond. Declarer's made 8 tricks now, and he might, whatever he plays, he will get defeated here. He might play a diamond here in the hope that you will maybe cash the ace of hearts and then he'll get the king of hearts. But your correct play here is to cash the ace of hearts and then play your spade back over to your partner's 2 good spades. So played that way, Declarer will be held to 8 tricks. You don't know absolutely that this is what's going to happen. It could be that Declarer's only going to make 3 diamonds. They've only got they don't have a good holding in diamonds, but it's probably the diamonds you need to keep rather than the hearts, because Declarer is not probably going to play the hearts, given that you have such a good holding in that suit. Even if I change the south hand, this is the same hand from your point of view, but I've changed the south holding so that they've got a much better holding in hearts. Even in that situation, I hope you can see that Declarer is unlikely to try to make too many heart tricks there. They've got very weak holding in hearts, and it's much more likely they're going to try and make 4 diamonds, which again, you can prevent by keeping your 4 diamonds. So the 2 important things on that hand were to keep a low spade and to keep all 4 diamonds. Keep length with dummy. It's one of the most important principles that will help you in your defense. Anyone have any questions about that? Let's try a second one. We're going to look at 3 boards this evening.
Sorry, Tony.
Yep.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
I had a question.
Yep.
You know that when West plays the 4 of spades and the dummy goes down in north and you see the ace of spades in dummy and you've got the king of spades in east, I would have played that because I know that's a sure shot winner.
West led the queen of spades. Okay. West led the top of a sequence, the queen of spades. Okay.
Right. I got it. Sorry. Yes, I got it. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah.
If they had led a low spade, yes, absolutely, you would play your king and then return the suit. But here they led the queen, so they should have something like this: Queen, Jack 10, or some kind of a sequence like that. Okay.
And for West, because they've got 5 spades, it's better to lead top of the sequence rather than the 4th highest.
Yes, I see a lot of people making the mistake of leading 4th highest on this holding. But if you think about it, if you have a sequence, you always lead the sequence rather than 4th highest. Otherwise, you would never lead the top of the sequence because you would always lead the 4th highest. But when you have a sequence, you lead the top. It would help in a situation where, for example, the king and the ace of spades were swapped, right? So in that case, if you leave the queen and your partner sitting there with the ace, they know they can trap the king. Whereas if you lead 4th highest and they play low, you don't know whether to take your ace or not. So lead top of a sequence rather than 4th highest. Let's try another one. And this time the contract is 1 no trump doubled. South opened 1 no trump, which was 12 to 14. And you're sitting there with 18 points, I think. A nice hand. And it's normal to double 1 no trump. And that gets passed out. So that double is for penalties. Normally a double means that you have at least a couple more points than the 1 no trump opener has, and you believe there's a good chance to defeat this. So let's play this card by card and let's see if you can manage it. So first thing you've got to think about is what to lead. Some people in double contracts, they sort of get a brain rush and they sort of cash all their aces and things like that, and that's not the right strategy. The right strategy is probably just to play what you would normally play, which is the 4 of spades. And down comes dummy. And this is a good time to think about how the points are distributed. South has got 12 to 14, 13 on average. And you can see the north hand has got 7 points. So north-south of about 20 points between them. And you've got 18. So your partner has about 2 points on average. They've got 1 to 3 points. So you won't have much over there. And then the other thing on this hand is you've got holdings where you don't particularly want to be leading those minor suits. It's quite likely that South has got those kings, King of Diamonds and the King of Clubs, and you'd much rather that Declarer leads those suits rather than you lead them. So anyway, let's see what happens. You lead the 4, your partner plays the 8, and Declarer wins that trick with the Queen. And I've got the second poll of the evening for you. And there are 2 parts to this question. Who has the 9 of spades and who has the Jack of spades? So have a little think about this and see if you can work out who you think has the 9 of spades and who do you think's got the Jack of spades. Okay, let's have a look at the results. Okay, a few more late results coming in there. And these responses are very evenly divided, with slight majority for East having the 9 of spades and a dead tie for who's got the Jack of spades. So let's switch back and see what we can make of it. Well, I don't think Declarer has the 9 of spades, because if East played the 8 and Declarer's got the Queen and the 9, don't you think they would play the 9 to win the trick? So I think it's likely that East has got the 9 of spades. And it's also very unlikely that East has the Jack of spades, because when you lead a low spade, third hand should play high. If they have the Jack of spades, they should have played it. So they don't have it, so South has it. So it seems overwhelmingly likely to me that East has got the 9 of spades and South has got the Jack of spades. Why is that important? Well, it's important to realize that South is sitting there with the Jack of spades. So if you as West gain the lead again, you probably don't want to lead a spade. If you lead a spade, Declarer can make a trick with the Jack as well as the ace. So that is an important bit of information. Now, you may think it's odd that I'm saying that Declarer played the Queen of spades when they also had the Jack, but they're absolutely permitted to play whatever card they like. They're equivalent cards. And in fact, they did a good thing. They tried to confuse you, which it seems like they would have succeeded by playing the Queen there and maybe trying to hide the fact that they've also got the Jack. Anyway, so that's an important bit of information, that South has got the Jack of spades. So Declarer now starts playing hearts. And let's suppose they play the first round and they play a second round. There comes the king, and you win the second heart with your ace. And now you have to think again about what to play. Which suit are you going to play at this point? You've just won the ace of hearts, and I've got the third poll coming up. And the question is, what are you going to play now? A spade, a heart, a diamond, or a club? Okay, let's have a look at the results. And we've got most popular responses are a diamond or a heart, with other people voting for clubs and spades. And let's see what we think. We are in a position here where we suspect, that the honors in the minor suits in particular and the Jack of spades are in the South hand. So in this situation where we've got things like the ace queen of diamonds, we want to play to give ourselves the best chance of making those diamonds, of trapping the king, assuming declarer has it. So rather than play a spade or a diamond or a club, I would seriously suggest you play a heart here. You may think that's foolish because declarer's got the queen and jack there, but by playing a heart, you're not giving away anything. You're not giving declarer any tricks that he couldn't get for himself. He can always get to dummy and cash those 2 tricks. So a heart play here is passive in the sense that you don't want to give away any extra tricks. And especially in these 1 no trump double contracts, you often have to play very carefully to avoid giving declarer any extra tricks. And I think the safest thing to do here is to play a heart. So declarer wins that. Let's suppose they cash another heart. And that's a bit unfortunate, of course, because you've got to discard something here. You don't want to discard anything, but suppose you discard a club. And now suppose declarer leads a diamond. And this is the kind of thing you're hoping for, that he leads diamonds into your diamond holding here. Before we go any further, I'm just going to bring up the 4 hands because this is an important moment for East here. When you're in this kind of situation where, you suspect your partner's got most of the missing points, you have to be on your toes to try to help trap any honors that are in the south hand here. So, for example, if we played the 8 here and declarer played low, then your partner would have to win this trick with the 9, and then they would be in a position that they would have to play one of these suits, again, suits that they don't really want to play, and playing any suit could help declarer here. So if you're on your toes as East, you may not think you've got anything to think about here, but you should probably go up with the jack or 10 here, which gives you a better chance of trapping any honors. So if I play the jack, then of course if declarer plays a king, your partner will win the ace and take the rest of the diamonds. But if he plays low, you retain the lead with the jack of diamonds, and now you can carry on leading. And what you'd probably lead here is what the suit your partner originally played. So if you play the 9 of spades, now your partner can let that go. They don't want to, because the 9 is good enough to force out the ace. Now declarer might play the clubs. Again, perhaps your partner East here should play the 10 or the queen. But whatever happens, if they play low, you're going to win the jack of clubs. And now you're going to cash your spade. You hope that the jack falls here, and you can indeed take the 10 there. And you've got the ace of diamonds to cash, the ace of clubs. Finally, you're going to have to play a diamond, and declarer will make one trick with a king. But played that way, you will hold declarer to just 6 tricks there. So this is an example of you make your normal lead and then try and play passively, and don't give away any extra tricks, especially once you see a fairly strong dummy. You realize that your partner's got virtually nothing over there. So it's up to you to avoid giving declarer any easy tricks. Any comments on that? And let's have a look at this last one. Here again, we're
sorry, Tony, it's Fiona here.
Hello, Fiona.
I just wondered why East might not wriggle.
East. Oh, okay. So there isn't a the wriggle, the Halmik defense doesn't apply in this situation. The Halmik defense applies when they've doubled 1 no trump. So North could execute a wriggle if he wanted to, but North doesn't want to because he's got 7 points here. East is interested in escaping somewhere, but
Yes.
he can't do a redouble. A redouble is an illegal bid there.
That's right, but could you not bid your lowest 4-card suit and hope that you've got a 7-card fit somewhere?
You could bid 2 clubs, yeah. 2 clubs would, yeah, that would be a possibility. That's saying, partner, I'm very weak and I'm not sure we can defeat 1 no trump.
Yes.
So you could 2 clubs. On this hand, your partner should probably pass that. Although if they had a different hand with, for example, a long suit of their own, they could bid 2 of their suit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's hard to escape that with a fairly balanced hand.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Anyway, finally, let's look at this last hand. It's gone 1 no trump, 3 no trump. And your partner leads the 3 of spades. And down comes dummy. And you should be thinking about where you're going to make your tricks from, how you're going to defend this hand. Suppose declarer plays low from dummy, and you play the 10. Third hand should normally play high as necessary, and the 10 wins the trick. So declarer has played the 6 from dummy. They played the 5 from their own hand, and I've got the next poll for you, and the poll is the poll has got 2 parts to it. The poll has got, how many spades do you think your partner started off with? And which suit are you going to play at trick 2? So can you tell how many spades you think your partner started off with? And which suit are you going to play now? So that's the last poll. How many spades do you think your partner started with? And which suit do you think you should play now? Okay, let's have a look at what you put. And most of you have gone for 4, with a lot saying 5. One person said can't tell. And most people have opted to return a spade at trick 2. So let's switch back to it and see what we think about it. You may think that's an odd question. How many spades do you think your partner started off with? But what you should think about is that your partner's probably led their 4th highest spade, the 3, and the 2 has not appeared. Someone has the 2 of spades, and it's either west or it's south. Now, south has played the 5, and unless south is false carding, which is a possibility, but if they're not false carding, it means that west started with 5 spades, and they led their 4th highest, and you should be able to work that out. But if the 3 is their 4th highest, they also have a 5th card. So I think it's likely that west has got 5 spades. Now, what do we think about the honors here? You can't be absolutely certain about where the missing honors are. The missing ones you're thinking about in spades are the ace and the queen. You hope that your partner has both of those, and indeed they may well have that to have led that suit. It's possible that south has got the ace and is sort of ducking, even though they don't need to duck, perhaps because they've got 2 stoppers. Unlikely they've got the queen, because if they've got the king on one hand and the queen on the other, they would probably play the queen now, hoping to make a second trick with the king. So it's all in all, it seems quite likely to me that west has got 4 spades left, including the ace and the queen. And that seems like a good suit to go after. You can tell that you're going to gain the lead at some point with the king of diamonds. Declarer's presumably going to try a diamond finesse. You're going to get him with the king. And when you do, you are thinking about carrying on in spades. Hopefully your partner's got spades to catch. I must say the other suit I would be thinking about leading here would be a club as a possibility. But given the evidence that my partner's likely to have 5 spades, I think I'm going to plug away with spades. and I'm going to now play the Jack, and let's just bring up the 4 hands here, and you can see that the spade continuing gives Declare a problem here, because they've got the king here, and that king is always going to make a trick. You can't prevent that making a trick. So what West has to be aware of is they should probably not play their ace here. They should let the Jack force out the king. The king's always going to make a trick, and they might play the 9, or even the queen is probably safe, given that the 10 has already gone. And they're playing a spade, keeping the ace, so that it gives you a better chance that when your partner gains the lead, you'll be able to run the spades. Just think about it. If instead you'd played the ace of spades and then another spade, that knocks out the king, but now East doesn't have any more spades. But played this way, Declare really has to take their king here. If they let this one go, you'll cash the ace and they won't make any spade tricks. So probably the best thing for Declare to do is to take their king now, and Declare will now take some other tricks somewhere, maybe some hearts. But at some point they will play a diamond, and then when you gain the lead with the king of diamonds, you've still got a spade to switch back to your partner. Here, your partner doesn't need to play the ace because they can see the 9 is going to win the trick, and then they'll take 2 more spades and take 5 tricks there. After this, Declare is going to win the rest, taking the clubs and the diamonds, but will be down 1 on this hand. So I think there when your partner leads a 3, the evidence suggests they've got a 5 card suit there, and based on that, you should be thinking, well, we can defeat this contract if we can make 4 spades, and I can make the king of diamonds as well. So that's really how you need to be thinking. And West has to be careful too, not to win the second trick with the ace, but to let Declare win the king, as that gives you a very good chance now that when your partner gets back in, they'll be able to continue with spades. Anyone have any comments or questions on that?
Yes, Tony, it's Fiona again.
Fiona again.
Why overtake with the queen?
I think perhaps if suppose your partner had started just with 2 spades, okay, if they had started with just 2 spades,
How does that help?
Okay, well, so if they if you didn't overtake and your partner's Jack of spades was their last spade, then it would turn out that Declarer could let you win that with the Jack, and
Okay.
you wouldn't be able to continue with spades. So if East had only had 2 spades,
Yes.
and the Jacks, then I think in that case it may be better. But yeah, so I think it doesn't matter too much, because the 10 has gone. So I think the queen and the 9 are sort of equivalent.
Yes, they are. Yes, thank you.
Anyway, it doesn't matter on this one, but you might play the queen there just because you're worried that might be your partner's last spade.
Yes.
Anyway, so
Thank you.
anyway, thank you for that question. Anyone else have any other questions? So these are all quite tricky hands. They really involve, step-by-step thinking about the play at each hand, thinking about what each card shows, and they're quite challenging. We'll end the talk there, and we'll start the game at 7:30.